Vidya Prakashan Mandir Private Limited.
Hello students, let us learn General Science for class 6 from the book Science Square. Today we are going to learn chapter 15, Light. In this chapter we shall discuss about sources of light, how light is produced. We'll know about transparent, translucent and opaque objects, propagation of light, reflection of light, images and shadows. Let us begin the chapter. When you think of light, you probably think only of what you can see in visible light, such as rainbows, movies, fireworks, displays, and city skylines. You do not think of radio waves, microwaves, X-rays, or light rays, etc., because we cannot see them. All forms of light, whether visible or invisible, begin with atoms. The tiny electrons move about the nucleus of an atom carrying a specific amount of energy. Later, the electron may release the energy in a tiny packet called photon. The photon contains the exact amount of extra energy that the electron has absorbed. Light is made up of these tiny packets of energy called photons. We say light has a stream of photons. Sources of light. Sun and other objects that give off their own light are called luminous objects. Stars, torchlight, bulbs, candles, and even fireflies are luminous objects. Objects that can be seen because of the light bouncing from them are called illuminated or non-luminous objects. Moon can be seen because light shines on them and then bounces off. Further, the sources of light can be categorized as natural sources and artificial source of light. The sun, stars and fireflies are natural source of light. Candles, electric bulbs, oil lamps, torches are man-made. These are called artificial source of light. So source of light can be classified as luminous and non-luminous and also natural and artificial sources. Incandescent lights. Luminous objects can produce incandescent light, that is fluorescent light or neon light. Luminous objects can produce light, but there are different forms of light, that is incandescent, fluorescent or neon. What is the meaning of incandescent light? It is nothing. When objects get heated, they glow or gives off light. These are called incandescent light. For example, inside a glass bulb, there is a thin wire filament made up of metal tungsten. Tungsten can be heated to over 2000 degrees C without melting. So the heating will glow and gives off light. Let us see the next type of light, fluorescent lights. You can see some lamps produce light when they are cool. These lights are called fluorescent lights. Here, the electrons bombard molecule of gas kept at a low pressure in a tube. This light is cool light that it uses less electricity than incandescent light. So, we often use fluorescent lights. The other type of light is a neon light. You can see lights produce light when electricity passes through tubes filled with gas under pressure. An electric discharge passing through neon gas causes it to give off red light. If other gases are added, it may be producing different colors. You should have noticed this in your playful games area and other areas. Let us learn about neon lights. Neon lights produce light when electricity passes through tubes filled with gas under pressure. An electric discharge passing through neon gas causes it to give off red light. So this is because neon gas is red in color, so it gives off red color. Likewise, if you add other gases to the neon, other gases colors may also be produced. This is the common neon lights you can see everywhere. Let us see the different types of objects. No matter what the source, whenever light strikes matter, three things can happen. Can you guess what are these? Yes, one is light can be absorbed, light can be transmitted or get scattered, and the third possible is light can be reflected. So these are the three things which can happen when light strikes a object. Based on this, the objects are classified as translucent, that is which can be light can be absorbed; transparent, light can be transmitted or get scattered; and opaque, the light can be reflected. Beam of light. Light always travels in a straight line, so we call it as a rectilinear. The amount of light traveling along a straight line is called a ray of light. A ray of light is shown by a straight line with an arrowhead showing the direction in which it is traveling. A collection of rays of light is called a beam of light. So, light travels only in a straight line, that is rectilinear. The amount of light traveling along a straight line is called a ray of light. Ray of light will always carry an arrow ahead showing the direction in which it is traveling. A collection of rays of light will call it as a beam of light. Let us now discuss the types of beams of light. A parallel beam of light. It is the one in which rays of light are parallel to each other. The distance between the rays remains the same. Convergent beam of light. Here, the rays come towards each other. The distance between rays goes on decreasing till all rays meet at a point. They are converging, they are joining to form one point. Divergent beam. Here the rays spread out, that is scatter, diverge from a point. The distance will be keep on increasing. Pinhole camera. It is based on rectilinear propagation of light, that is light traveling in a straight line. It has a tiny pinhole to let the light through. The hole has to be as small for a sharp image. It consists of a light-proof cardboard box. The face with a pinhole in its center is covered with a black paper. A greased or tracing paper is pasted on the opposite face of the box. The tracing paper acts as a translucent screen. The object, say for example, tree, is placed in front of the pinhole. You can see the pinhole camera. It is made up of cardboard box. It is light proof. So it should be covered with a black paper where the images will be formed, that has been focused that has been pasted with the tracing papers or greased paper, because it acts as a translucent screen. The hole has to be very small so that sharp images can be observed. Light from each part of the object travels in a straight line, passes through the pinhole camera and falls on the tracing paper. An inverted image of the object can be seen on the tracing paper. The upright position of the tree will become inverted image of the object. This is because of rectilinear propagation of light. Reflection. When light strikes a surface, whether smooth surface or rough surface, it gets bounced. This bouncing back of light is called reflection. The surface through which light cannot pass but bounces back into the same medium from which it has come, we call it as a reflecting surfaces. The reflection, that is the images can be seen, but light does not pass through. Let us see different kinds of reflection. The kind of reflection determines on the type of surface the light strikes. When a surface is smooth, then it reflects light in a regular way. This type of reflection is called regular reflection. When a surface is rough, then it reflects light in an irregular way. This type of reflection is called irregular reflection. Irregular reflection is also called diffused reflection. Importance of irregular reflection. Although diffuse reflection are not desirable for seeing your image, they are important. If sun's rays are not scattered by reflecting from uneven surfaces and dust particles in the air, you would see only those objects which are in direct sunlight. Is it not? Places in the shade of trees and buildings, in the corners of rooms, would be in darkness because light does not focus on that. Glare of the sunlight would be so strong that you would have difficulty in seeing. These are caused by the irregular reflection. Laws of reflection. In the figure, you can see a plane mirror has been there. It's mm dash. The ray of light which falls on the mirror is called incident ray, AO. The incident ray indicates the direction in which the light falls on the mirror. That is from A to O. You can see the arrow mark indicating in the incident ray. The point at which the incident falls on the surface of the mirror, we'll call it at a point of incidence, O. You know that when a ray of light falls on a mirror, it sends back the ray in another direction. The ray of light which is sent back or bounced back by the mirror is called as a reflected ray. In the diagram, the line OB is the ray and the arrow indicates the path, direction from O to B. There is a perpendicular to the surface of the, you can see a line perpendicular to the surface of the point of incidence. Next, you can see there is a line perpendicular to the surface of the point of incidence. That point, we call it as a normal. That line which is perpendicular to NM1 dash, we call it as a normal. The angle between incident ray and the normal is called as angle of incidence I. The angle between the reflected ray OB and normal ON is called the angle of reflection or angle R. When we measure these two angles, we will find AON angle will be equal to BON angle. We also notice that the incident ray, reflected ray and the normal all lie in same plane. Mirrors are the best reflectors. Yes, when light falls on an object, reflection, transmission and absorption, all the three take place. However, the best reflection of light should not, there should be no transmission or absorption. For the reflection to take place, there should not be any transmission or absorption of light should be there. So this can be achieved only by smooth and shiny surface. So silvered glass which has smoothness is used as a mirror. Silvering makes it shine, and the red paint on the back prevents transmission and protects the silvering. Thus, a polished or silver surface has the property of reflecting maximum light. So we say mirrors are the best reflectors. It gives best reflection as there is no transmission or absorption of light takes place. Let us see now the characteristics of the image formed by a plane mirror. When we see our image in a plane mirror, we find it of same size and erect. Yes, but our left finger appears right and right appears left in the mirror. This phenomenon is called lateral inversion. All objects undergo through a lateral inversion in a mirror. So we can see that the image formed by a plane mirror has the following characteristics. The image is virtual, cannot be caught on the screen. It appears to be as far back inside the mirror as the object is in the front of it. When the image is virtual, we can catch the image on the screen. It appears to be far back inside the mirror as the object will be in front of it. It is of same size of the object. It is erect but laterally inverted. Differences between images and shadows. Images are formed when the light is reflected from the mirror or any shiny object. Images will be formed. But shadows are formed when the object blocks the light from striking any surface. Images formed will be more or less same size of the object, but shadows change based on the angle between the source of light, object and the ground. Images mostly formed will be erect but laterally inverted. And similarly, shadows though erect, it is not laterally inverted. Images gives you all the details including colors, whereas shadow will give you only a dark representation of the object. Let us have a chapter recap. Luminous objects give off light. Illuminated objects bounce light off their surfaces. The sun, stars, and the fireflies are natural source of light. Candles, oil lamps, electric bulbs, and torches are artificial sources of light. The amount of light traveling along a straight line is called ray of light. A collection of rays of light is called a beam of light. Shadows are formed due to rectilinear propagation of light. Reflection is the bouncing back of light. Images formed by plane mirrors appear to be behind the mirror. There are many differences between images and shadows. This completes chapter 15.
Vidya Prakashan Mandir Private Limited.